Like, really disappointed. I'm not.
Really?
I really am. I'm.
That was your.
And I. Oh, thanks. Yeah. I know. I know.
Good evening, afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Happy New Year and welcome to our January 1st reorganization meeting of the Dunellen Borough Council. Our first order of business is a call to order of the 2024 council by, well, myself as the mayor. So our municipal clerk, Lauren Statz, is not present with us in person today, but she will be joining us online. So Mrs. Statz, if you'd like to call to order. Technology is great if it works. Okay. We will try to get a hold of her to unmute. How's everybody doing? We'll improv. I took a class like that in college one time. Yeah. Oh. If we could turn off our cell phones, please. Okay, just one moment. Okay, but you don't have to call the order. Okay, so we'll just start with the Pledge of Allegiance. How about that? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Mrs. Statz, are you with us now? Can you hear us?
Yes.
Oh, beautiful. Welcome. Can we have a reading of the Sunshine Statement and roll call of council by our municipal clerk, Mrs. Lauren Statz?
This meeting of the Dunellen Borough Council is called pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Law. This meeting of January 1st, 2025 was included in a list of meetings that was advertised in the Courier on January 8th, 2024, and as a teleconference was noticed on the official Dunellen website on December 20th, 2024, and on the public bulletin board on North Avenue on December 20th, 2024, and has remained continuously posted as required notice under the state statute. Mayor Salento,
Present.
Council President Albertson,
Present.
Mrs. Lance,
Here.
Mrs. Rios,
Here.
Mr. Scott,
Here.
Mr. Sigmund,
Here.
and Mr. Vandermark.
Item number 4 on the agenda is the adjournment of our 2024 council. Can I have a motion and second on resolution number 1?
Move it, Rios.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Albertson,
Yes.
Mrs. Lance,
Yes.
Mrs. Rios,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund,
Yes.
and Mr. Vandermark.
Okay. Item number 5 on the agenda is the oath of office by a representative of the Legislative District 21 to our 2 council members who are being sworn in today. We welcome Assemblywoman Nancy Munoz and Assemblywoman Michelle Matsakudis from our Legislative District 21. They're here to swear in our council members. First is an oath of office to Councilmember Teresa Albertson being conducted by Assemblywoman Michelle Matsakudis. We got a photographer right there. Yep. Billy, for photos, direct them. Okay, let me get out of the way.
I, Teresa Albertson, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, that I will bear true faith and allegiance, to the same, and to the government established in the United States, and to the government established in the United States, and in this state, and in this state. To the authority of the people, and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly, perform all the duties of the office of council member, according to the best of my abilities,
Next on the agenda will be administering the oath of office to William Scott, administered by Assemblywoman. Here we go.
I state your name.
I will accept.
Do solemnly swear
Solemnly swear.
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
That I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
That I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people.
and that I will faithfully,
And I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the office of council member
of the office of council member
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Oh, yeah, we are supposed to.
Oh, you do? Oh, you just have to sign it. Why don't you wait till, well, you actually sign it now.
Now.
So you can be a city council.
Yeah, really.
Eric. Yes. Congratulations, council member. Congratulations. Congratulations. Okay, next up is item number 6 on the agenda, a call to order of the 2025 council and by myself and roll call by our municipal clerk, Lauren Stats.
Mayor Salento,
Present.
Mrs. Albertson,
Present.
Mrs. Lance,
Here.
Mrs. Rios,
Here.
Mr. Scott,
Here.
Mr. Sigmund,
Here.
and Mr. Vandermark.
Here.
Okay, let's get to business, folks. Item number 7 is the appointment of our borough attorney. I recognize it was a little empty up here. William Robertson. Can I have a motion and second on resolution number 2?
Move it, Sigmund.
Second, Albertson.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mrs. Albertson,
Yes.
Mrs. Lance,
Yes.
Mrs. Rios,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund,
Yes.
and Mr. Vandermark.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Robertson, join us up front and I will administer your oath. There you go. Okay. I, William Robertson,
I, William Robertson,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established in the United States and in this state,
and to the governments established in the United States and in this state,
under the authority of the people, so help me God.
under the authority of the people, so help me God.
Next order of business is resolution number 3, the appointment of council president. Are there any nominations to the floor for a council member to be council president?
I nominate Daniel Cole Sigmund.
Is there a second to that?
Second, Scott.
I'll give it to Councilman Vandermark. Mrs. Stats, motion on Albertson, second on Vandermark. Okay, any other nominations to the floor? Without hearing any, can we take a roll call on, well, let's have we did a motion, second on 3, right? So we can do a roll call on number 3 with council member Daniel Cole Sigmund becoming the council president.
Mrs. Albertson,
Yes.
Mrs. Lance,
Yes.
Mrs. Rios,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund,
Yes.
and Mr. Vandermark.
Yes.
Council member, if you would like to join us up front, we've asked that Assemblywoman Nancy Munoz administer the oath.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, I got it. I got it. I state your name.
I, Daniel Sigmund,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
and
and to the governments established in the United States
to the governments established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all duties
perform all duties
of the council president
of the council president
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
So at this time, before we move on with our agenda, we've asked that Assemblywoman Nancy Munoz and John Macacutis say a few words on behalf of the legislative district of Dunellen. I will say very briefly, we're very fortunate to have these two representatives representing Dunellen. We're doing their district. They've really been treating us as if we've been in there for decades. So thank you for your service to the whole district, but to Dunellen too. So welcome.
John Graham, and as well, your senator, we want to, thank you, wish you a happy new year. And we look forward to continuing to represent you, to doing the work of the people, listening to what you have to say, and making sure that your voices are heard down the track. So thank you. We feel like we're part of the family here. And as your mayor said, we feel like we've been here forever because that's how welcoming you have all been to us. And we hope that you feel the same about us. So thank you so much. Happy New Year, everyone.
This is the nicest way to start the new year by being here in Dunellen. We've been coming since we've been representing you, we've been coming every year. And I always love seeing a packed room and all of the vibrancy of the community members here. And I have no doubt, speaking on behalf of Nancy, John, and myself, that the council that you have in front of you is here to work hard for you. And they are here with your best needs and to do the best job for you. So anything that we can do going forward, we're happy to help with. So thank you very much.
We're also represented by Senator John Bramnick, who could not be here today, but I know he sent his regards, and he's been a great public servant and assistance to the Dunellen Tree. So we thank him for his service. Okay. It's gonna be a lot of up and down today, so just bear with us. Yeah, if I didn't get to the gym, this is my start for the new year. It's my resolution. Okay, item number 9 on the agenda is a resolution hiring a police officer, Paul Condit. And before we do that, I'm gonna ask that Chief Daniel Smith, along with Captain Beenders, introduce the candidate, and then council, we can do a motion, second, and roll call and vote.
Little bit about Paul, he's been a resident of Dunellen for well over a decade. He proudly resides with his wife, Lupe, and 4 children. Prior to law enforcement, Officer Connick proudly served his country with the United States Marine Corps. Officer O'Neill, who his law enforcement career began with the New Jersey Department of Corrections. And he then left to attend the Mercer County Police Academy, employed by the Middlesex County Sheriff's Department since 2017. Officer found it proud to see his career path lead him home to the community he loves.
Okay. Do we have a motion and a second on resolution number 3? Oh, sorry, 4. I apologize.
Move it, Sigmund. Second, Scott.
Take a roll call, please.
Mrs. Albertson,
Yes.
Mrs. Lance,
Yes.
Mrs. Rios,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund,
Yes.
and Mr. Vandermark.
Yes.
Congratulations. Run it.
I will say personally, I'm very excited about this hire. He lives in Dunellen, his family's from Dunellen, and there isn't a time that you don't see Mr. Conick, student patrolman Conick, that there isn't a smile on his face. So we're looking forward to serving our community. Okay, left hand on Bible. Repeat after me. I, Paul Condit,
I, Paul Condit,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the government established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people, so help me God.
through the authority of the people. Of God.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Okay. If everybody wants to move to the front of the classroom, you're more than welcome to. Okay, next on the agenda is 1 through 9. It's the appointment of committees, boards, and commissions. There's no votes necessary for this. But how we will administer the oaths is anyone who is here this afternoon being appointed to their rightful committee or commission, you received an email. I'll ask you to stand in the audience, raise your right hand. I will read to you the oath of office. It'll be I state your name, member of, state the committee or commission you're being appointed, and we'll just go right through it. We'll welcome you to those various committees and commissions. And council members who are also appointed for voting positions should join us as well too. So everyone who's here for, yes, oh, yes, I apologize. We have your oath of allegiances here. So wait until the end of the meeting to join us up front to sign them. Those who are not present today will go to the clerk's office to get a swearing in or at the first meeting of the year of their respective committees. Just for a record. Okay, everybody ready? I state your name. Member of the, state the authority. How fun. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, to the governments established in the United States
to the governments established in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. In my State of the Borough address, I note how important volunteering is, but I will note now too, we've had over 167 volunteers over the last year, and I know we're going to keep going strong. This town can only move forward. It's built on the backbone of those who step forward and volunteer to help move our vision forward and support the community. So thank you all for your service. Okay. Oop. What did I miss? There we go. Next up on the agenda is our agenda resolutions. We have number 5 through 23. Our municipal clerk, Mrs. Lauren Stats, will read through each one. We'll motion second and do our business. So, Mrs. Stats?
Resolution number 5 is appointing Lauren Stats as Public Agency Compliance Officer.
Move it Rios?
Second Albertson.
Mrs. Albertson,
Yes.
Mrs. Lance,
Yes.
Mrs. Rios,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund,
Yes.
and Mr. Vandermark.
Yes.
Resolution number 6 is to approve the 2025 council meeting dates.
Move it Sigmund?
Second Vandermark.
Mrs. Albertson,
Yes.
Mrs. Lance,
Yes.
Mrs. Rios,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund,
Yes.
and Mr. Vandermark.
Yes.
Resolution number 7 is to declare the official newspapers for the Borough of Dunellen.
Move it Sigmund?
Second Rios?
Mrs. Albertson,
Yes.
Mrs. Lance,
Yes.
Mrs. Rios,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund,
Yes.
and Mr. Vandermark.
Yes.
Resolution number 8 is to appoint borough depositories.
Move it Sigmund?
Second Albertson.
Mrs. Albertson,
Yes.
Mrs. Lance,
Yes.
Mrs. Rios,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund,
Yes.
and Mr. Vandermark.
Yes.
Resolution number 9 is to approve a list of employee holidays.
Move it Sigmund?
Second Lance.
Mrs. Albertson,
Yes.
Mrs. Lance,
Yes.
Mrs. Rios,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund,
Yes.
and Mr. Vandermark.
Yes.
Resolution number 10 is to authorize eligible signatories for municipal financial documents.
Move it Sigmund?
Second Albertson.
Mrs. Albertson,
Yes.
Mrs. Lance,
Yes.
Mrs. Rios,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund,
Yes.
and Mr. Vandermark.
Yes.
Resolution number 11 is to approve the rate of interest for non-payment of taxes, assessments, or other municipal charges.
Move it Rios?
Second Sigmund?
Mrs. Albertson,
Yes.
Mrs. Lance,
Yes.
Mrs. Rios,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund,
Yes.
and Mr. Vandermark.
Yes.
Resolution number 12 is authorizing the tax collector to cancel tax refunds and delinquencies below $10.
Move it Sigmund?
Second Lance.
Lance?
Rios or Lance?
Lance?
Thank you. Mrs. Albertson,
Yes.
Mrs. Lance,
Yes.
Mrs. Rios,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund,
Yes.
and Mr. Vandermark.
Yes.
Resolution number 13 is to approve the temporary municipal budget for calendar year 2025.
Move it Sigmund?
Second Albertson.
Mrs. Albertson? Mrs. Albertson?
Yes.
Mrs. Lance?
Yes.
Mrs. Rios?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund?
Yes.
And Mr. Vandermark.
Yes.
Resolution number 14 is to approve the temporary sewer budget for calendar year 2025.
Move it Rios.
Second, Sigmund?
Mrs. Albertson,
Yes.
Mrs. Lance,
Yes.
Mrs. Rios,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund,
Yes.
and Mr. Vandermark.
Yes.
Resolution number 15 is to hire Kelly Cupid as a qualified purchasing agent.
Move it, Sigmund?
Second Lance.
Mrs. Albertson,
Yes.
Mrs. Lance,
Yes.
Mrs. Rios,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund,
Yes.
and Mr. Vandermark.
Yes.
Resolution number 16 is to recognize the appointment of elected 2025 line officers and executive officers for the fire department.
Move it Albertson. Oh. Second Albertson.
Who's the second?
Albertson. We have, if anybody from the line officers is here, do you mind standing? We can recognize you. Congratulations. Now let's take a roll call.
Mrs. Albertson,
Yes.
Mrs. Lance,
Yes.
Mrs. Rios,
Abstain being a member of the fire department.
Mr. Scott,
Abstain, position with the fire department.
Mr. Sigmund,
Yes.
and Mr. Vandermark.
Yes.
Resolution number 17 is to approve towing contracts for 2025.
Move it, Sigmund?
Second Lance.
Mrs. Albertson,
Yes.
Mrs. Lance,
Yes.
Mrs. Rios,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund,
Yes.
and Mr. Vandermark.
Yes.
Resolution number 18 is appointing a fund commissioner to the Central Jersey Joint Insurance Fund.
Move it, Sigmund?
Second Rios.
Mrs. Albertson,
Yes.
Mrs. Lance,
Yes.
Mrs. Rios,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund,
Yes.
and Mr. Vandermark.
Yes.
Resolution number 19 is to establish a petty cash fund.
Move it, Sigmund?
Second Albertson.
Mrs. Albertson,
Yes.
Mrs. Lance,
Yes.
Mrs. Rios,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund,
Yes.
and Mr. Vandermark.
Yes.
Resolution number 20 is to approve ADP as a third-party provider for payroll and human resources services for the 2025 for the Borough of Dunellen.
Move it Rios.
Second, Sigmund?
Mrs. Albertson,
Yes.
Mrs. Lance,
Yes.
Mrs. Rios,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund,
Yes.
and Mr. Vandermark.
Yes.
Resolution number 21 is to approve a solicitor's license for Comcast.
Move it, Sigmund?
Second Albertson.
Mrs. Albertson,
Yes.
Mrs. Lance,
Yes.
Mrs. Rios,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund,
Yes.
and Mr. Vandermark.
Yes.
Resolution number 22 is to amend resolution from December 2nd, 2024, number 338, awarding a contract to AA Berms for Washington Avenue beautification improvements.
Move it Rios.
Second, Sigmund?
That's the continuation of the decorative lighting? Correct.
Mrs. Albertson,
Yes.
Mrs. Lance,
Yes.
Mrs. Rios,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund,
Yes.
and Mr. Vandermark.
Yes.
Resolution number 23 is authorizing the municipal clerk to administer all cottage food licenses for the 2025 licensing year.
Move it, Sigmund?
Second Rios.
Mrs. Albertson,
Yes.
Mrs. Lance,
Yes.
Mrs. Rios,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund,
Yes.
and Mr. Vandermark.
Okay, great. That's the joys of reorganizing our government on January 1st. Next up is our consent agenda. We have resolutions 24 through 48. They can be voted upon in one consent agenda motion as they are all appointments for municipal court and other professional services. So council, if you've had a moment to review and you have consent, can we have a motion and a second?
Move it. Sigmund?
Second, Albertson.
Vandermark on the second.
Okay. Mrs. Albertson,
Yes.
Mrs. Lance,
Yes.
Mrs. Rios,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund,
Yes.
and Mr. Vandermark.
Next on the agenda are other matters. The State of the Borough address by myself as mayor. So let's buckle up. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, members of the Dunellen Borough Council and Borough staff. It is an honor to stand before you today to deliver my 6th State of the Borough address. And I'd like to begin by wishing you and your families a happy and healthy new year. It's hard to believe that it's already been a year since our last reorganization meeting, but 2024 has been filled with many accomplishments, milestones, and achievements that have pushed our borough forward, and I'm eager to share them with you today. The Borough of Dunellen is truly a special place. We all know that, and it's thanks to the amazing people who call it home, the business owners who invest in our community, our volunteers, many of whom you saw get sworn in today, and so many others. It is a true privilege to know that the Dunellen Borough Council and I are up here today thanks to your faith in us. Thank you for allowing us to lead this great community. At this time, I'd like to introduce the council members to you. We have Chrissaw Idis Lance, Trina Rios, Daniel Cole Sigmund, Hal Vandermark, as well as Teresa Albertson and William Scott, who I congratulate on their swearing in today. Congratulations to Daniel Cole Sigmund for being appointed as the Dunellen Borough Council President for 2025. It is an honor to spend another year working with you all. Thank you to Assemblywoman Nancy Munoz and Assemblywoman Michelle Matsakudis of New Jersey's 21st Legislative District, who swore in our council members today. I would like to also acknowledge other individuals here today from our police department, our emergency services, and volunteers who are in attendance today. And the borough is truly grateful for your ongoing support, and I thank you for being here. Today, I'm filled with immense pride as we reflect on our borough's remarkable achievements over the past year and the spirit of our community. Together, we've made tremendous strides in enhancing the quality of life for all who call Dunellen home. We've welcomed new members to our team, many of whom are here today, whose new perspectives have helped elevate the quality of services we provide to our residents. From our administrative staff to our first responders, their contributions have strengthened our ability to address challenges, deliver essential services, and create opportunities for growth. As we celebrate our progress, we also look to the future with optimism and determination. One of the things I am personally most proud of is our redevelopment efforts. Redevelopment in Dunellen began back in 2001 under my predecessor, Mayor Robert Cedar. 2024 was our most successful year so far, with the completion of several projects, the start of others, and the approval of more to come. 526 North Avenue, the borough's most recently completed project, is home to Metro 526, a modern 43,000 square foot apartment complex featuring 40 apartments, including 6 affordable housing units. This transformative development replaces several vacant buildings that were severely damaged by fire, bringing new life to the area. Metro 526 was celebrated its grand opening on September 28th, marking a significant step in the revitalization of our downtown. Another notable accomplishment this year was the completion of 150 North Avenue, a 3-story mixed-use building consisting of 1,500 square foot of commercial retail space and a 14-apartment rental development at the corner of Jackson Avenue and North Avenue, including 2 affordable housing units. This replaced a vacant parking lot and former mechanic shops. The commercial office space located on the first floor is home to new businesses, and the residential units on the second and third floors have welcomed new residents to each unit. The space also offers level covered parking for both residents and businesses. Currently under development, the Gateway at 745 Boundbrook Road exemplifies our commitment to smart growth and thoughtful design. It is projected to have 23 luxurious and boutique multifamily units with 3 affordable housing units. A significant architectural feature is a turret that symbolizes the entrance to the borough. This project will replace an existing vacant restaurant club that unfortunately closed due to the pandemic and will truly act as a new welcoming gateway into our borough. Finally, one of the most significant and successful development projects is the Art Color Complex, now known as the Dunellen Station. Once an underutilized industrial site and start of the discussions for redevelopment in Dunellen over 20 years ago, it is now home to a thriving mixed-use development that integrates townhomes, apartments, and retail spaces. Many of those residents who I've had the pleasure of meeting have quickly become involved in our community and are proud to call Dunellen home. The completion of the Dunellen Station is a testament to the power of smart redevelopment, and as such, Dunellen was awarded the prestigious 2024 New Jersey Future Smart Growth Award on October 22nd of past year, which Borough Administrator Alex Miller and I had the pleasure of attending alongside our partners from Prism Capital Partners and others. This award honors projects, plans, and policies across the state that demonstrate smart growth principles in action. This project not only preserved the character and charm of our borough, but also introduced a diverse range of housing options and amenities that attract both new residents and businesses to the area. Further accolades from this year include Dunellen being featured in Business View magazine in October 2024. This national leading publication showcased the borough's unique blend of a small town charm, strategic redevelopment efforts, and commitment to preserving our rich history and values while engaging the future. Additionally, in November 2024, Downtown Dunellen received the Great Downtown designation from the New Jersey chapter of American Planning Association. This annual award celebrates outstanding places that demonstrates the transformative power of great planning to create vibrant, healthy, equitable, and sustainable communities. In 2025, we look to continue this great momentum for our Miracle Mile, and we will be featured in the January edition of Real Estate New Jersey's monthly issue, which will be available in both digital and print formats. This article will cover new construction projects in the borough, as well as our larger efforts to revitalize the downtown. The January edition of Real Estate New Jersey is expected to be online a week or so into the month, with physical copies being released the following week. That is a significant thing for our borough, if you ask me personally. These redevelopment initiatives have brought new commerce to our downtown, and the increased population has helped support local businesses, driving further economic growth. For example, since taking office in 2020, we have seen nearly $100 million of investments in downtown Dunellen. That is on top of the Dunellen Station project's $100 million investment secured by Mayor Robert Cedar, totaling around $200 million in investments in downtown Dunellen in less than just a decade. The success of our efforts would not have been possible without the use of pilot agreements. In 2024, the borough received nearly $2 million in pilot revenue, accounting for approximately 14% of the borough's anticipated total revenue. Without these redevelopment projects and the financial flexibility provided by pilots, which is one of the municipalities, all municipalities in the state's only toolbox to attract some economic growth in their downtown, this revenue would either have had to be raised through property taxes or the reduction of municipal services to avoid a significant tax increase. Additionally, this revenue year over year will assist with debt service payments, therefore alleviating any additional burden caused by payments of note on bonds, most specifically on the interest of said bonds, which will help lower taxes over time. Pilot agreements therefore play a critical role in stabilizing taxes for all our residents while driving new growth. These projects have contributed Also, nearly $250,000 directly to the community, funding important initiatives such as a bike and pedestrian safety improvements, upgrades to our parks and playgrounds, and necessary infrastructure enhancements. A common misconception and concern with redevelopment is the impact it can have on our school system. However, the results here in Dunellen have been reassuring. Our redevelopment projects have introduced 51 new students to the school system across the board, which is actually 25% fewer than originally projected, demonstrating that our borough is well prepared to manage growth without overburdening our schools. Moreover, the borough and school district maintain an open line of communication regarding the potential impact of redevelopment in school-aged children, so that we may properly prepare for the completion of these projects and more accurately project any impact on our school district. And I will, as a side note from my speech, say kids in a school system increase in population is a sign of a healthy community. And I'll put a period at the end of that. In addition to redevelopment, a main focus of our administration has been improving roads throughout Dunellen through cost-effective means, such as through relationship building and partnerships with New Jersey American Water and PSE&G, shared services through the Middlesex County Mill and Pave program, as well as the NJDOT municipal aid grants. Since 2020, we have successfully paved over 10 miles of our 16 miles of municipal roadways, so we're clearly over half. In 2024 alone, 1.8 miles of roads were paved, including Center Street, Pulaski Street, Klein Place, North Washington Avenue, Penfield Place, Maple Avenue, Madison Avenue, and Mountain View Terrace. Each completed project includes advanced measures to increase pedestrian safety throughout the borough, such as enhanced striping and signage. To further enhance pedestrian safety, especially for our students, we have begun work with the New Jersey Department of Transportation on North Avenue and Bound Brook Road to install ADA-compliant sidewalks with flashing beacon crosswalks at key intersections to follow in a later phase of this project. This NJDOT project started in November of 2024 and spans from Warrenville Road and Bound Brook Road intersection to Jefferson Avenue and North Avenue intersection. Since 2020, the Borough of Dunellen has been awarded a total of $8,206,206 in grants from state and federal agencies for various road, park, environmental, and transit village projects that have already been or will be implemented over the next 2 years. It's a lot of money for a small town. In 2024, this includes a $496,000 NJDOT municipal aid grant for 2nd Street Phase 1 to improve the roadway, a $529,000 Transit Village grant for Bound Brook Road street decorative lighting, and a $218,000 grant for Mountain View Terrace bike path. Beyond grants and other infrastructure improvements, we have been happy to welcome Comcast as a broadband provider in the Borough of Dunellen, following the adoption of Ordinance 2024-03 at the April 21st Council meeting, and authorization from the New Jersey Board of Public Utilities. Service to the borough will be delivered with fiber to the home that can provide high-speed internet access, digital video, video on demand, high-definition television, and Xfinity voice. Comcast will join Optimum Altice, who's had a monopoly, as another provider for internet, television, and phone services in the Borough of Dunellen. This will promote competition, which should improve quality of services and hopefully competitive pricing, allowing residents to have more options in the market for choosing their provider. Choices are good. Over the last couple of months, Comcast has been conducting underground work throughout the borough to install fiber lines in preparation of the availability of their cable and internet services. In 2024, the borough implemented key organizational changes within the administrative offices aimed at improving efficiency, effectiveness, and transparency in local government operations. Alex Miller, to my right. How are you, Alex? Good. Completed his first full year as borough administrator, balancing this part-time role with his full-time duties as superintendent of public works, parks, and recreation. Alex has streamlined internal processes, improved communication across departments, and identified cost-saving opportunities and shared services. He will continue to serve in this role moving forward. Lauren Statz, in her first year as municipal clerk, has ensured timely completion of clerical and secretarial tasks. delivered excellent constituent services, coordinated council meeting agendas, and helped run productive council meetings. Brianna DiCandia, who earned her registrar certification this year, serves as a frontline administrative assistant in the clerk's office and has done a very good job herself. The Department of Community Development was created, led by Derek White, the new director. This department consolidates several divisions, including the Construction Office, Code Enforcement, and Planning Board, to improve operational efficiency and revenue collection while supporting redevelopment and economic development efforts alongside the Office of the Mayor. Kelly Cedar, who's here with us today, as Recreation Programs Coordinator, has effectively managed the Recreation Department, programming, events, and facility scheduling. So keep up the good work, Kelly. William Billy George, who's also here with us today, the new Communications Coordinator, has enhanced borough communications, designed graphics, coordinated the Dunellen report, handled press outreach, and supported community engagement efforts. So thank you, Billy. Sharon Roundtree supported the borough administrator in developing organizational structures, improving processes, exploring shared services, and managing grants. Dawn Hutchinson took on the role of full-time tax collector, ensuring accessibility for residents while collaborating with the finance team, including part-time CFO Scott Olson, to streamline communications and budgeting. Maria Santos was hired as a full-time tax clerk to assist with tax collection and support Debbie Weaver, our accounts payable and receivables and human resources manager. Ken Baudendistel joined the property maintenance department as second code enforcer alongside property maintenance officer George Dean. Together, they are dedicated to ensuring more efficient property maintenance throughout the borough, which helps maintain the appearance of our neighborhoods and increases public health and safety, as well as the overall property values of our homes in Dunellen. By ensuring each department is properly staffed and cross-trained, and that's important, they're cross-trained, we are better equipped to provide efficient, transparent, and effective services to the residents and businesses of Dunellen, ensuring they receive the value they deserve for their taxes. This past year saw our continued efforts to further increase the borough's communication methods and how we most effectively distribute information to our residents and beyond. We continue to virtually broadcast each council meeting, host engaging mayoral town halls and monthly walks and talks with the mayor, and deliver monthly messages from the mayor on our website. Important alerts such as emergencies and road closures are promptly shared across multiple platforms, including the borough's Facebook pages, as well as my Facebook page and Instagram and the council members' Facebook pages, in addition to e-notify system to further spread these notifications. The borough's website, dunellen-nj.gov, remains a centralized hub for Dunellen's information. In addition to Facebook pages, Instagram email blasts through MyRec, Next Stop Dunellen newsletters, and our quarterly print publication, the Dunellen Report, which I'm proud to say is now entering its 14th year of publication, which is mailed to every resident in the borough on a quarterly basis. 2024 was an exciting and eventful year for the Dunellen Parks and Recreation Department, providing countless hours of community engagement for residents of all ages through successful programs and new initiatives. The department successfully expanded 11 youth programs, including the addition of the Summer Tennis Academy, and organized 3 adult programs, 2 senior citizen events, and 9 community-wide events for all to enjoy. Flag football, spring track, tennis, and summer camp all saw record participation this year, a feat that is also thanks to the dedication of 58 volunteer coaches who made these programs possible. Let's give a round of applause for those volunteer coaches. Recreation-led events drew larger crowds than ever, and new events such as the Volunteer Picnic Day and Founders Day proved to be big successes that we are excited to build upon further this upcoming year. They also partner with the Dunellen Public Library to host family favorite events, including Movie in the Park and a night out at the Somerset Patriot Stadium. Meanwhile, Dunellen senior community has remained as active as ever through the senior holiday parties, a senior picnic, monthly pizza parties, movie days, and special activities in collaboration with Middlesex County. The Hometown Heroes program continued to grow, now honoring 112 of our armed service members with banners along North Avenue and North Washington Avenue. Out of these 112 banners, 17 were added in 2024. And again, great kudos to Kelly Cedar and Alex Miller for getting this program started and getting as many veterans that we get to honor. So good work, guys. And of course, one of our most anticipated events of the year was organized through the Recreation Department as we celebrated the homecoming of Dunellen's native and four-time Olympic gold medalist Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone on September 23rd at the Sydney McLaughlin track at Columbia Park. Sydney competed this past August at the 2024 Paris Olympic Games, where she won the gold in women's 400-meter hurdles, setting her sixth world record in the event with a time of 50.37 seconds. She would go on to join the Team USA and win her second gold at the Paris Games and fourth in her Olympic career in the women's 4x400 relay. So good work, Sydney. This event was attended by local, county, and state officials, as well as individuals from throughout Sydney's journey to the Olympics, including Lieutenant Governor Tahisha Way, Assemblywomen Munoz and Matsakudis, Senator Bramnick, Faber Principal Brendan Tennant, a Union Catholic coach Mike McCabe, and Principal Sister Persley Hart, Middlesex County Commissioner Chanel Scott McCollum, and Middlesex County Sheriff Mildred Scott. Following the conclusion of the event, Sydney greeted her fans staying at Columbia Park for over 2 hours to make sure she had the chance to speak with everyone, take pictures, and sign autographs. So thank you, Sydney, for doing that and remembering our community. Thank you. Our municipal clerk's office has been instrumental in handling a variety of services for our residents, including the processing of pet licenses and marriage licenses, and municipal services such as planning the agendas, meeting minutes, ordinances, and resolutions for the Dunellen Borough Council meetings. Their work during the 2024's election season was especially invaluable in ensuring that all residents were able to successfully cast their votes and have their voices heard. 2024 served as a homecoming for the Dunellen Fire Department, marking the end of a challenging journey and signaling a new start for our firefighters. On December 7th, we celebrated the fire department's resilience, dedication, and commitment to our community with the reopening and rededication of the George W. Hodgelick Firehouse after a fire shut down the facility just over 3 years ago. This state-of-the-art facility is named for a lifelong resident, longtime fire department member, and World War II and Korean veteran George W. Hodgelick. George first joined the department at the age of 35 in 1961. And has been an active member ever since. I mean, ever since, up until this day, he still shows up. In anticipation, at the age of 98, by the way. In anticipation of this milestone event, the Dunellen Fire Department proudly accepted the delivery of Truck 4 and Engine 3. Further, in vital pieces of apparatus, which will be joined by Rescue 5 in 2025, further strengthening their ability to serve the people of Dunellen and neighboring communities. So welcome home, guys and guys. It's important to note that the challenges presented by the temporary loss of the firehouse did not stop the fire department. Throughout the rebuilding process, they continued to operate and responded to over 300 emergency calls in 2024. And you ended one last night, so 301? Oh, okay, so your first one was last night. Start over. Ranging from structure fires to car accidents to unintentional alarm activations. The Dunellen Borough Police Department celebrated its 100th anniversary in 2024, and it is truly fitting that a milestone year would be filled with many notable happenings. The department saw the retirements of several officers, Sergeant Prescott Chin, Detective Joe Dudley, and Patrolman James Daniel. And I know the entire council and community thank them for all their years of dedicated service to our Miracle Mile. Let's give them a round of applause. We also welcomed a new officer, Patrolman Vargas, who joined the department on January 16th. So he's almost at a year. Good for him. Several officers were promoted, including Detective Sergeant Nicholas Goldman, Sergeant Jonathan D'Angelo, Lieutenant John Doherty, and Captain Christopher Beenders, who is here with us right here, Dunellen's first police captain in nearly 30 years. So congratulations. They had a busy year with 161 arrests, 2,920 motor vehicle stops, and 3,856 summonses issued. As a testament to their hard work, Patrolman Keith Irons was recognized by Mothers Against Drunk Driving in June of 2024 for his outstanding efforts in 2023 with the most DWI arrests in Dunellen in Middlesex County and for, a municipal officer in the state of New Jersey. Patrolman Michael Lauder, Patrolman Marcia Neurotics, and drug recognition expert Sergeant Brian Robbins were also recognized for their outstanding efforts. So congratulations, gentlemen. In 2024, the construction department achieved significant milestones that highlight the ongoing growth and improvements within our community. Over the past year, the office issued a total of 275 permits reflecting the thriving development in our borough. They also conducted 93 rental inspections, a number they anticipate to double in 2025 as we welcome new residents into our thriving housing and rental market. Additionally, construction completed 34 time of sale inspections, which is actually fewer than last year's total, which, if you think about it, indicates that more residents are choosing to stay here in our Miracle Mile and not move. Finally, 104 zoning applications were processed, highlighting the work our residents are putting into working on and improving their homes and properties. So let's say thank you to them. I would like to take a moment to recognize the significant accomplishments of our municipal court this year, led by the Honorable Judge Catherine Howes, particularly during a time of transition as we welcomed new court administrator Liz Dubois and celebrated the retirement of Terry Crisafoli, the promotion of Denise Donato as deputy court administrator, and the addition of part-time violations clerk Dawn Mayer Dahl were essential in assuring that our courts continue to run smoothly. Their tireless efforts allowed day-to-day functions to continue without having to delay justice in our court system. The Dunellen's Department of Public Works is a vital backbone of our community, ensuring the daily operation of the borough through their dedication to maintaining and improving the quality of life for our residents. In addition to their essential responsibilities of maintaining our parks, downtown area, streams, curbside pickup, and snow plowing, DPW swept 310 miles of road, collecting 380 tons of debris to keep our streets clean and safe. These efforts extended even further to the restoration of 10 catch basins and beautification efforts such as the installation of a new landscape planter at Washington Memorial Park, redesigning 2 planters at Columbia Park, and planting 45 new trees in our downtown while repairing the surrounding brick pavers to enhance the area's aesthetics and functionality. The department has played an integral role in the maintenance of the Bandalong Bandit litter trap, which they helped install in the Greenbrook as part of a new pilot program that is the first of its kind in New Jersey. Volunteering in Dunellen thrived in our Miracle Mile this past year with 167 total volunteers between our recreation programs and other volunteer organizations. See, I told you, volunteers are the backbone of our community. One such organization is the Dunellen Downtown Management Organization, also known as the DDMO. The DDMO celebrated its 11th annual Harvest Fest, a fall favorite that has become a cherished Dunellen tradition and the organization's largest fundraiser. Proceeds from the Harvest Fest help fund volunteer-led downtown enhancements, including holiday trees, hanging basket, plantings, benches, and more. The DDMO also celebrated the grand openings of several new businesses and commemorated milestone anniversaries for longtime local businesses. In their ongoing support of our local business community, the DDMO once again offered their Small Business Saturday promotion in November, which helps drive traffic to many unique local businesses throughout the borough. Let's give DDMO a round of applause. Another volunteer organization with a highly successful year in 2024 was the Dunellen Arts, Inclusion, and Culture Commission. The commission made significant strides in enhancing the borough's public art landscape with the completion of the Madison Avenue murals and approval of the Prospect Avenue mural, which support the organization's mission to celebrate creativity and community in public spaces. The completed mural depicts characters participating in a wide variety of programming and activities offered by our recreation department. Recently, upgraded lights were installed in the underpass, allowing more opportunities to view this piece once installed in the spring of 2025. We finally got those approvals from New Jersey Transit. The Prospect Avenue mural is expected to be completed and installed by the end of 2025, and the artwork will be a tribute to our first responders who protect and serve our community. The great thing about these murals is they are done by local artists who either live in Dunellen, who are very active in our community, and they are done in a way in which children at the summer arts camp and anybody at our community events get to help paint them and be a part of the process. Truly a community effort. So congratulations on that to Dunellen Arts Inclusion and Culture Commission. The Dunellen Municipal Alliance has remained committed to its mission of educating our students and community about substance abuse disorders, providing training to 45 youth leaders to facilitate programs for students from grades 1 through 12. Working in teams of 2 or 3, these youth leaders have brought meaningful and engaging lessons directly into the classrooms, empowering students with knowledge and tools to make positive choices. The Dunellen Education Association provided support to the Municipal Alliance, providing valuable educational materials for our students. Looking ahead, the Municipal Alliance continues to work with the Borough Council, Borough Administration, and the Borough Police Department to continue their efforts. So good work by the DMA. The Dunellen Office of Emergency Management, led by Homer Mosley, our OEM coordinator. Hi, Homer. Secured its 4th consecutive $10,000 emergency management assistance grant, which helped facilitate the purchase of a 40-foot container and shelving for emergency supply storage, along with additional radio equipment. I see you over there, Council President. Yeah. OEM expanded its leadership team with the appointment of Joe Cummins as a 2nd OEM deputy. Joe has been instrumental in evaluating Dunellen schools as a potential emergency shelters, as well as recognized in December with an Outstanding Service Award from the New Jersey Emergency Management Association. At the same event, OEM coordinator Homer Mosley was sworn in as NJEMA's recording secretary. Like you didn't need enough to do, Homer. Gigi, are you okay with that? Additionally, OEM and CERT member Chris Mueller was appointed as Dunellen Search and Rescue Coordinator and is being nominated as Middlesex County's Outstanding CERT Member of the Year for his dedicated service. OEM also held educational events throughout the year, including the first ever senior official all hazards preparedness workshop at the Dunellen Senior Center, Safety Saturday sessions, and the August mayoral town hall on OEM and storm preparedness. They also provided support for their other major community events throughout the year. Let's give a round of applause for OEM and STRAIT. The Dunellen Rescue Squad, which we have members here today, began their next chapter by saying goodbye to their old building on North Avenue and have begun focusing their energy and attention on continuing to provide high-quality EMS services as they prepare for their eventual move to 635 Boundbrook Road, or infamously known as Strip Joint. This new location will house a brand new facility that will allow them to better serve the community, setting the rescue squad up for success for current and future members. We wish them well in this endeavor and offer our support where appropriate. So good work, folks, and congratulations. We're over the halfway mark, everybody. There's a lot that we accomplished, and everybody who accomplished it throughout the town, I believe, deserves full recognition. The Dunellen Parking Authority implemented several changes to better serve the community, including the board transitioning to a monthly meeting schedule to ensure the prompt resolution of operational and business matters. A new superintendent position was created to manage day-to-day operations, improving efficiency and responsiveness. Routine maintenance kept all the borough parking meters fully operational, and the organization celebrated the holiday season by offering free parking throughout the entire month of December. Since June, the Parking Authority has received and resolved 21 complaints related to on-street parking and is actively addressing parking issues near Boundbrook Road, Front Street, and Lincoln Avenue in collaboration with the borough. Additionally, the Parking Authority worked closely with the borough administration to comprehensively amend and adopt an ordinance that aims to improve downtown parking. This ordinance included no overnight parking along Route 28 and the designation of specific parking spots for free 15-minute drop-off and pickup locations to better support the needs of the businesses in downtown Dunellen. I'd also like to take the moment to honor and remember those who have helped shape our community, especially those who are no longer with us. This past year, Dunellen mourned the loss of a dear friend, Mayor John Gibney, mayor of Dunellen from 1988 to 1992. He's right over there on the left side of President Kennedy. He passed away on May 5th at the age of 76. So there was still plenty of life to give, in my view. As a lifelong resident, he was deeply committed to his family, especially his wife, Jean, and their children. John's public service included 4 years on the Dunellen Planning Board, 2 terms on the Borough Council from 1982 to 87, and as we all know, as mayor too. He also gave back through Dunellen's Lion Club, the High School Booster Club, and as a coach for the Little League and Pop Warner. John's professional skills helped beautify the borough, designing key signage, including the Welcome to Dunellen signs and park markers. To me, he was a friend and mentor, particularly during my time as mayor, and I will personally miss our conversations about the Miracle Mile. He had a few good stories. May his memory remain eternal and his legacy of service to Dunellen be remembered for generations. Can we please give Mayor Gibney a round of applause? Now, as we look ahead, I'm proud to say that the future of Dunellen is bright, and that is reflected in the many upcoming initiatives, also on top of our accomplishments, on the horizon that will continue to propel our borough forward in 2025 and beyond. This year, we look to continue our redevelopment efforts, with several approved projects set to begin construction, which will play a key role in revitalizing the downtown area. These projects will capitalize on their transit-oriented design, taking advantage of the proximity to the Dunellen train station and local bus routes. The development at 120, 126 North Avenue will replace vacant properties with 33 residential units, including 5 affordable housing units and over 2,000 square feet of commercial space, enhancing the walkability and expanding the commercial district. North Hamilton project at 405 North Avenue will transform the former bank and rescue squad building into a mixed-use complex featuring 50 residential units, which is inclusive of 7 affordable housing units, commercial space parking, and providing the rescue squad the ability to build a new facility at another location in downtown Dunellen. 431, 441 North Ave development will add 62 new residential units, including 9 affordable housing units and ground-level retail, further enhancing the downtown area. 337 Front Street project will create 8 residential units, including 1 affordable unit, in a 2-story building, preserving the neighborhood's charm with rear parking for residents for the residents in the back. The 440 North Avenue project will feature a 3-story mixed-use building with 1,100 square feet of commercial space and 9 residential units, including 1 affordable housing unit and an ADA accessible apartment. This will replace a vacant house that sits in our downtown. The 501 North Avenue project, which is currently under negotiations and is proposed to redevelop a dilapidated old mechanic shop at the corner of North Avenue and Madison Avenue. This mixed-use project, if approved, will further enhance the aesthetics of this area in downtown. These projects are essential not only for improving the physical landscape of Dunellen, but also for addressing the borough's fiscal health. As Dunellen's tax base is heavily reliant on residential property values, nearly 90%. Increasing commercial property values is vital to alleviating the financial burden on homeowners. By generating additional commercial revenue, these projects will provide long-term benefits to the community and stabilize the borough's finances to reduce the reliance on residential taxes while simultaneously stimulating our local economy. We will also be adding wayfinding signage that we received funding for through the New Jersey Department of Transportation Transit Village grants. This will help guide residents and guests to key locations throughout the borough, such as Borough Hall and public parking areas. Reminder, the train station parking is free parking after 5 p.m. for the entire downtown. Additional signage will detail the history of Dunellen, while others will provide QR codes for digital maps and a directory of Dunellen's businesses. The coolest thing I think is we're going to have those 2 signs that talk about the history of Dunellen. That I think is the coolest. We'll also continue our assessment of a special improvement district for our downtown with Inc. Creative Strategies, and we'll be holding a follow-up to our October 30th meeting with local business owners and stakeholders on January 15th. for further discussion and input. Special improvement districts serve as an additional tool to support our downtown businesses and provide them with the resources to help them thrive. As a commuter town with its own train station, we will continue to advocate alongside our state representatives from Legislative District 21 for the modernization of the Dunellen train station to improve travel for residents and commuters. Year after year, we continue to issue requests to the state offices in Trenton to help fund improvements to the Dunellen train station, as we realize that the train station not only needs to be accessible for all, but it's a means to access to jobs in and out of the borough, as well as an economic tool that can be utilized in the ongoing revitalization of our downtown. This administration and council will continue advocating so that we are not forgotten when it comes to these needs of the Dunellen train station. And we appreciate the efforts of Senator Bramnick and Assemblywomen Munoz and Matsakudis as they have continued to advocate for this funding on our behalf down in Trenton. As we've done in previous years, we will continue to apply for grants that will allow us to further beautify our borough, and we will work with the Middlesex County Mill and Pave Program, PSE&G, and New Jersey American Water to improve infrastructure and roads. In 2024, contracts were awarded to 2 projects that are anticipated to begin in the spring. Phase 1, which will span from Middlesex border to Madison Avenue, will see the removal and replacement of severely damaged curbs and sidewalks, the installation of new ADA accessible sidewalk ramps at the intersections, and the replacement of any damaged castings, and the installation of 2 speed check radar systems, push button beacon lights, enhanced traffic safety stripes and markings, concluding with the milling and paving of that street. The Washington Avenue street lighting project will see the installation of decorative LED lights along Washington Avenue between First Street and Dunellen Avenue, and between Dunellen North Avenue and the railroad tracks. 2025 will also see further improvements to pedestrian safety with projects scheduled to be bidded on this year, including the NJDOT project along North Avenue and Bound Brook Road. This project includes the installation, as we noted earlier, of ADA compliant ramps along Route 28. Push button flashing beacons will also be installed at the intersections of Sanford Avenue and Bound Brook Road, Lincoln Avenue and North Avenue, Prospect Avenue and North Avenue, and Jackson Avenue and North Avenue. Additionally, push button flashing beacons will be installed at Madison Avenue at Dunellen Avenue and First Street, and North Washington Avenue at Dunellen Avenue and First Street to further assist with school traffic, walking traffic. The traffic lights at Washington Avenue and Madison Avenue will also receive updated pedestrian crossing signals, and we're also doing a traffic truck route study this year to help get these trucks off our residential roads, and also look at turn signals at North Washington Avenue and North, and Madison Avenue and North. So that is on the agenda as well for this year. The borough would like to continue their work with the Dunellen Parking Authority for downtown parking assessment to determine locations for future parking and how we can make our current lots more accessible for parking and bicycling. I would like to end my address. We're there, guys. We're there. I would like to end my address to you today by thanking the borough's administration and staff and our various boards, commissions, and committees. Though there are many I'd like to recognize by name, here are just a few individuals. Alex Miller, our Superintendent of Public Works, Recreation and Parks, our Administrator. Lauren Statz, our Municipal Clerk and Registrar. Derek White, our Director of Community Development. Deborah Weaver, our Human Resources Manager. Kelly Cedar and all recreation staff and the Recreation Commission, Richard Herkett and all our Department of Public Works employees, Sharon Roundtree, our Special Project Advisor, William Robertson, our Borough Attorney, Scott Olson, our Chief Financial Officer, William George, our Communications Coordinator, Tax Collector Dawn Hutchinson, Tax Office Clerk Maria Santos, and Tax Assessor Dawn Gutschell, Judge Catherine Howes, Municipal Court Administrator Liz Dubois, Deputy Court Administrator Denise Donato, and Violations Clerk Dawn Mayer Dahl, George Dean and Ken Bawden, Distal and Code Enforcement, Scott Brescher, Claire Bell Acevedo, John, Mike, Travis, and Michael in our Construction Office, Police Chief Daniel Smith, Captain Christopher Beenders, Lieutenant John Doherty, Administrative Assistant Debbie Ritchie, and all of our police officers, Chief William Scott of the Fire Department, and all of their membership, Chief Jeff Best and the Dunellen Rescue Squad and all of their membership, OEM Coordinator Homer J. Mosley, Deputy OEM Coordinators William Carlson and Joseph Cummins, and their entire search team and OEM staff. Thank you to all of our government services, employees, and volunteer agencies. In 2024, as we noted, 167 volunteers participate in recreation programs or borough commissions, committees, and boards. And I hope we can continue to build on that number. Dunellen's success is truly measured by those who serve our community. Personally, I would like to finally recognize and thank you, my family and friends, for their unwavering support. I extend my love and gratitude to my wife, Lindsay, and my daughter, Kennedy, because without them, I would not be able to be here today. Actually, last year at this reorganization meeting, my wife was pregnant with Kennedy, and now she's going to be almost a year. And many thanks and love to my mother, father, sister, brother, and their families, my in-laws. And thank you, I would like to say, to former Mayor Robert Cedar for his friendship and mentorship to me throughout all of these years. He's really helped me guide to this position. Finally, I'd like to extend a special thank you to my pop-pop, who originally inspired my journey into local politics. I thank him every year. I am humbled and proud to serve the community that helped raise me and my family and serve as your mayor. As mayor of Dunellen, I promise to work with all members of the Dunellen Council and all municipal staff and volunteers to ensure responsible and transparent and government is delivered to our constituents, with all residents feeling they are fairly represented and welcomed in our Miracle Mile. May we continue to devote our minds and hearts to public service above all else, so that Dunellen continues to be a place where our neighbors, friends, and families seek to create the greatness that uniquely defines our community. Thank you for your time today and your patience for the speech, and a happy and healthy new year. Okay. Next up on our agenda is public comments. If anybody would like anything to say, we just ask that you please state your name or address, whether you're joining us virtually or in person. We don't want to prolong this anymore. Okay. Well, next up, we're going to close that portion of the meeting, so nobody stood up for public comment. Let the record note. Our next up is awards and proclamations. First is the presentation of Dunellen Volunteer Citizen of the Year for 2024. And it's my great honor to welcome Margaret Peg Lockwood up as we present her a proclamation and a plaque. Proclamation awarding Margaret Peg Lockwood Dunellen's 2024 Volunteer Citizen of the Year. Whereas Peg Lockwood is a founding member of the Dunellen Downtown Management Organization and the Dunellen Arts, Inclusion, and Culture Commission, two volunteer organizations that have significantly contributed to Dunellen's growth. And whereas she has served on DDMO as a chair or acting chair since its inception in 2012, and has participated in many organization events such as Harvest Fest, Spring into Wellness, grand openings, anniversary celebrations, restaurant week, and many more. And whereas Peg represents the business owner's role in the Dunellen Downtown Management Organization, and is a longtime Dunellen business owner dating back to the purchase and renovation of the Arts Annex in 2000, and Maggie Murray's in 2013, which she continues to own and manage. And whereas through her work with the Dunellen Arts, Inclusion, and Culture Commission, Peg has continued to promote and inspire the arts and foster cultural recognition and inclusivity in our Miracle Mile by assisting with the organization of programs such as Music in the Park, Plays in the Park, Summer Arts Program, the Mural Program, Holiday Window Decorating, Black History Month events, and more. And whereas Peg leadership of the Dunellen Arts, Inclusion, and Culture Commission, including roles as treasurer and secretary, as well as her efforts in securing grants and support letters, have ensured the success and sustainability of numerous community programs. And whereas Peg's dedication, creativity, and passion for Dunellen embody what it means to be a volunteer. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Jason F. Salento, along with the Borough Council, congratulate Margaret Peg Lockwood and award her the honor of being Dunellen's 2024 Volunteer Citizen of the Year. Congratulations. 。 All right.
You're good.
Next year. All right. Alright. Upside down.
My family has been from Dunellen for over 100 years. So I consider Dunellen to be my family. And I think it has enormous potential, so I have invested in both financially and also through volunteer work. And I would just say, volunteering is a great way to meet a lot of people in town, and in a small town, you make a huge difference. So there are tons of opportunities to volunteer, and we just encourage people to do that. Thank you.
Next is the presentation of Dunellen Lifetime Achievement Award from 2024. We have the great honor to recognize the legendary Kathy Wilson. Okay, proclamation awarding Kathy Wilson, Dunellen 2024 Lifetime Achievement Award recipient. Whereas Kathy Wilson is a longtime resident of Dunellen, having grown up in our Miracle Mile, moving away briefly in 1972, and returning in 1979, making the borough her lifelong home. And whereas Kathy's involvement in Dunellen began in her youth when she participated in arts and crafts classes and the summer playground program, later taking on leadership responsibilities by supervising counselors. And whereas she has dedicated a decade of service to the Girl Scouts and as a troop leader and as a member of the Girl Scout service team, participating in many programs and events. And whereas Kathy was involved in the summer park program at the Dunellen High School, which she developed while Columbia Park was being renovated, as a counselor, planning and chaperoning trips, teaching arts and crafts, and leading various other classes. And whereas she has served on the Dunellen Recreation Commission for over 35 years, starting as an associate member and later becoming a regular member, donating her time and volunteering countless events and programs to give back to her community. And whereas Kathy has been married to her husband Jeff for over 50 years, and together we have 3 children, Matthew, Sarah, and Katie, along with 4 grandchildren, Justin, Abby, Silas, and Jack. And whereas Kathy embodies all characteristics and attributes that qualify her with the designation of Dunellen's Lifetime Achievement Award recipient. I'll just note, your crumb cake alone gives you this honor. So, and the potatoes. You get both for the price of one, free. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Jason F. Salento, along with Borough Council, extend a congratulations to you, Kathy Wilson, in awarding her the honor of being Dunellen's 2024 Lifetime Achievement Award recipient. Congratulations.
Sure.
Come on up. You're one line. Come on.
Matt.
Come on up, everybody, come on up. Come on up.
Whole family. Are we send her down?
No,
I'll go right.
you ready?
Everybody to know, it's been a pleasure being involved with recreation forever. What?
Who has more your head?
Jimmy does.
Oh,
Jimmy does.
sorry.
He's younger.
Thank you, guys. Okay, well, before we conclude, everyone is welcome to join us at the Dunellen Hotel for a reception. We have food and soft drinks and coffee and tea, no alcohol, just so you're aware. And but you're welcome to join us, everybody who is present in the room. So please join us. Can I have a motion and second on resolution number 47 to adjourn our council meeting?
Move it, Sigmund?
Second, Albertson.
Sigmund Albertson. Okay, can we have a roll call, please? Well, all in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Okay. Happy and healthy New Year, everyone.